I never thought the label would stick so hard. Why are you always so different? Can't you just do what everyone else is doing? You think too much. Just be normal. Those words haunted me, not because they were shouted in anger, but because they were whispered in disappointment by the people I loved the most. I was 26, sitting in my childhood room, surrounded by degrees I never cared for and memories I never quite fit into. My siblings were married, building families, and climbing corporate ladders. Meanwhile, I had just quit my third job in 2 years and was getting too comfortable with ramen noodles and late-night existential crises. I wasn't rebellious. I wasn't lazy. I just didn't belong. That night, I scrolled mindlessly through social media, another engagement announcement, another promotion celebration, when my phone buzzed. It was a message from Richard, an old college friend I hadn't spoken to in years. It read, "You still trying to figure out why you're different? Let's talk." It felt oddly timed, maybe even divine. In the cafe that changed my life. We met the next day at a corner cafe in Brooklyn. Richard looked content. Not flashy or wealthy, but grounded, like he'd found something I hadn't. "Still chasing your thing?" he asked, half smiling. "Honestly, I don't even know what my thing is," I sighed. "I feel like the black sheep of my family. Like I was born to break rules no one else even questions." He leaned in. "You ever heard of the 80-20 rule?" "Yeah, something about 80% of results coming from 20% of effort?" "Close," he nodded. "In society, it often shows up in behavior too. About 20% of people challenge norms. They're labeled the misfits, the rebels, the black sheep. But they're the ones who change things." That hit me. Hard. Let's understand the black sheep. Richard explained something that stayed with me forever. "There's a difference," he said, "between being rebellious and being misaligned. Most black sheep aren't trying to rebel. They just see the world differently." According to a 2014 Harvard study on social conformity, people who deviate from group norms are often more creative, empathetic, and forward-thinking. But they're punished because they challenge their comfort zones. "You're not broken," he added. "You're just early." Then he gave me 3 steps that transformed everything. Number 1, identify the source of the friction. Write down what exactly makes you feel different. Not emotionally, but practically. Is it your values, career path, lifestyle? Find the point of collision. Number 2, separate rejection from identity. Just because people don't understand you doesn't mean you're wrong. Being misunderstood isn't failure. It's often proof you're thinking independently. Number 3, redefine your tribe. Your tribe isn't always the people you were born into. It's those who speak your language, even if they're few. I went home and did the work upon these 3 steps. These steps introduced me with me, my inner self. Afterwards, the list that hurt and healed. I sat down and listed what made me feel like the black sheep. I wanted to create, not just consume. I questioned tradition. I sought meaning over money. I felt deeply, sometimes too deeply. And for each bullet, I realized these weren't flaws. They were gifts. They just weren't recognized in my environment. The hard part was accepting that some people might never see my worth. But that realization also gave me freedom. Setbacks and small wins. I was learning and I started changing my approach. Instead of hiding my ideas, I shared them online. My first video got 32 views, half of them probably me refreshing the page. But the 10th? It got over 3,000. A woman from Toronto messaged me. I thought I was the only one who felt this way. That gave me fire. Still, not everyone celebrated. My uncle told me I was wasting my degree. A friend ghosted me when I didn't show interest in a safe job. Some nights I questioned everything. But every time I felt like quitting, I'd reread Richard's message. You're not broken, you're just early. Let's dig into the Mandela effect, the real one. Richard once told me, if you want proof of a black sheep who changed the world, study Mandela. Nelson Mandela, jailed for 27 years, labeled a traitor, and isolated from society, was once the ultimate black sheep in apartheid-era South Africa. But he didn't conform. He didn't apologize for his vision. When he was finally released, he didn't return with vengeance. He returned with unity. His refusal to blend in became his legacy. History rarely remembers the conformists, Richard said. It celebrates the disruptors who stayed kind. That line etched itself into my heart. Now I am finding purpose. In the label. Today, 3 years after that cafe meeting, I've built a life around the very traits I was once ashamed of. I create content that helps people who feel out of place find their voice. I mentor students who feel like misfits in traditional careers. I speak on podcasts about emotional strength, curiosity, and purpose. I still get labeled the black sheep. But now I smile and say, thank you. Because I've realized something powerful. The black sheep isn't broken. They're just the first one to see the hill and climb it. The next is your turn. So, here's my question to you. Have you ever felt like the black sheep? Misunderstood, out of sync, and maybe even lost? Good. That might just mean you're onto something big. The world doesn't need more copies. It needs originals. And sometimes the most powerful stories begin the moment you stop trying to belong and start trying to become. Let me leave you with this. If you've read this far, I want you to know, you're not alone. You're not too late. And you're not too strange. You might just be the one who sees things differently. And that's your superpower. Take these steps. Identify what sets you apart. Separate judgment from truth. Find or build your tribe. And take action, even if it's small. Remember, the black sheep often becomes the shepherd. And if this story lit something inside you, I ask you to do 3 things. Like this video to support more people who feel out of place. Subscribe so we can grow together. Share this with someone who needs to hear that being different is their destiny, not their downfall. Thanks for letting me share my story. Now it's your turn. Tell me in the comments, have you ever felt like the black sheep? What did you do about it?